I just finished watching Attack on Titan, and I found myself reflecting deeply on what I had just witnessed. What is it about this series that leaves such a profound impact? It's not simply the plot, nor just the characters, nor the meticulously crafted storyline, nor even the stunning animation. The depth of the characters is truly remarkable, and the layers of social and psychological complexity woven into the narrative are astounding. Who could possibly create a story like this? I've been thinking about doing a psychological analysis of this series for an entire year, but I'm not sure if it would interest others. I haven't even finished watching the whole series yet, but I already had a moment where I thought I need to dive deep into a psychological analysis of this character. He carries the weight of being a symbol of hope for humanity in the anime, but beyond that, he serves as a point of hope for us, the audience, as well. My name is Oliver, and I'm a psychologist. Today, we're going to explore one of the most well-developed characters in the history of anime. Just like other intense psychological anime such as Psycho-Pass or Ergo Proxy, the world of Shingeki no Kyojin, Attack on Titan, brings an immense level of anxiety to every character involved. This environment fosters a constant sense of an uncertain future. And that's essentially what we see in each of the characters in Attack on Titan, a looming uncertainty about what lies ahead. This hostile environment breeds anxiety in all the characters, but they each express it differently. Characters like Armin wear their anxiety on their sleeves, while others, like Levi, hide it beneath a steely exterior. Even though we don't live in a world as dangerous as the one portrayed in Attack on Titan, our current reality has brought forth a similar feeling of collective anxiety and uncertainty. It's a well-documented fact that in recent times, people have been experiencing higher levels of anxiety. Just like the characters fear the Titans, we too face our own personal Titans. Perhaps not as large, but no less overwhelming. Levi is a member of the Survey Corps, always positioned on the front lines, just as doctors and nurses are in the real world today. Watching Attack on Titan allowed me to empathize more with the people living within the walls, to understand how the pervasive sense of uncertainty can lead to paralysis, anxiety, and other psychological struggles. Levi is a character who seems to have learned how to cope with anxiety, or at least how to keep it in check. One of the most striking aspects of Levi is his demeanor, which is very reminiscent of Thomas Shelby from Peaky Blinders. If you look closely, you'll notice that even their haircuts and several of their mannerisms are similar. Levi is known for being emotionally distant and cold. While his facial expressions might tell one story, his actions often reveal something entirely different. Levi faced extreme challenges from an early age. His uncle found him in the same room where his mother had died. She passed away when Levi was very young. He never knew his father, and his mother worked in a brothel. This left Levi devastated, but his uncle decided to take him in, only to leave him to fend for himself much of the time. This experience gave Levi a new outlook on life, although he always knew his uncle wasn't the best role model. Eventually, Levi was abandoned again, and once more found himself alone. After that, Levi began living in the underground city beneath the walls. The people who live outside the walls dream of seeing the ocean, the desert, or the glaciers. But for those trapped in the underground, their only desire is to become citizens of the walled city above, as that would already be a better life. The place where Levi grew up was grim, filthy, and full of hardship, which explains his obsession with cleanliness. Despite the harsh environment, Levi always kept his home impeccably clean. Even during missions, he ensures that everything around him is spotless. His obsession with cleanliness is so deep that even the gear he uses to slay titans must be flawless and well-maintained. When Levi became a captain, he formed strong bonds with Isabel and Farlan, who became like a new family to him. Their shared goal was to gain citizenship and escape the underground. Eventually, Levi, Isabel, and Farlan joined the Survey Corps. But unlike Levi, Isabel and Farlan were not as strong or skilled. When they encountered titans, they were killed, leaving Levi devastated. His grief was evident in the ferocity with which he attacked the titan responsible for their deaths, demonstrating just how deep his pain ran. It was after this tragedy that Erwin Smith entered Levi's life, offering him a new way to interpret his experiences. Irwin told Levi that the past couldn't be changed and the future couldn't be predicted. Levi needed to accept what had happened. He had trusted his friends and allowed them to fight alongside him, but their deaths highlighted the weight of the decisions he made. This lesson, taught by Irwin, had a profound and lasting impact on Levi's outlook. The choices Levi made in that moment could never be undone, and this was the point Irwin wanted him to understand. Later in the series, during a critical scene in which Levi and his squad are pursuing the female Titan, Levi faces another difficult decision. He once again chooses to trust his comrades, only for all of them to perish. Irwin later tells him that, based on the information he had at the time, the decision he made was the right one. There was no way to foresee the outcome. It could have gone either way, but regardless, Levi had to come to terms with the consequences of his choice. Levi's journey reflects a broader narrative of resilience, emotional endurance, and the complex ways in which individuals process trauma. He is a character who doesn't just survive a world filled with physical threats, but also endures the heavy psychological toll that comes with such a life. Through Levi, we see the internal struggles of coping with immense loss, the burden of leadership, and the strength it takes to keep going, even when the future seems bleak and unforgiving. Levi's ability to balance emotional suppression with the weight of his responsibilities serves as a reminder of the quiet strength required to push forward, even when the odds are overwhelmingly against you. The choices Levi made in that moment were irreversible, and that was exactly the point Irwin wanted to convey. Later on, in a critical scene where Levi and his squad are chasing the female Titan, he made a decisive choice. He put his trust in his team. Unfortunately, all of them perished. Irwin later told him that with the information Levi had at the time, the decision he made was the right one. There was no way to predict the outcome. It could have gone either way, but Levi would have to live with the weight of that choice. In that moment, overwhelmed by grief, Levi killed the female Titan with a fierce sense of vengeance for his fallen comrades. This was the last time he truly displayed raw emotion. After that, he closed himself off entirely. Irwin's words reshaped Levi's entire outlook. He began to rely more on Irwin's judgment and follow his commands, though he still maintained confidence in his own abilities. From this point forward, Levi started exhibiting symptoms that fit the DSM-5 criteria for post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. He had always tried to hide his emotions, and over time, he became increasingly skilled at masking what he felt, coming across as cold and detached. However, this coldness is, in reality, an unconscious defense mechanism, a way to cope with the trauma he has endured. His obsessive need for cleanliness can also be interpreted as a way to deny his depression and suppress his feelings of loss. Levi constantly seeks to bury his emotions in traumatic situations in order to protect himself and those around him who are already suffering. Despite being incredibly strong and respected for his combat skills, Levi is far from arrogant. He fully understands the fragility of human life and how quickly it can be lost. That's why he always fights with survival in mind. Levi has a quiet confidence in himself to the point that he's unaffected when others tease him about his height. He knows he has gone through extreme situations that have made him more empathetic, even though his cold demeanor may suggest otherwise. He possesses an incredible ability to sense the emotions of others, though he doesn't show it in moments of crisis. Levi tends to listen more than he speaks, which allows him to connect more deeply with people and understand their feelings. In many instances, he is seen quietly observing others as they converse, only to glance downward afterward. Research suggests that this act of looking down is often associated with reflection, sadness, or acceptance, which indicates that Levi does suffer emotionally, but he chooses to handle it alone, without burdening others. His obsession with cleanliness can also be seen as a form of obsessive-compulsive disorder, OCD, a subconscious mechanism to maintain control. Levi craves control because throughout much of his life, he lacked it. He couldn't control the death of his mother, his uncle's abandonment, or the loss of his friends. By maintaining control over small things like his immediate environment, Levi finds a sense of security and relief from anxiety. This desire for control is something we can all relate to, whether it's sitting in the same spot every day or rewatching a favorite series because we already know what's going to happen. In Attack on Titan, the future is uncertain, and each character deals with their anxiety in different ways. Eren, for example, exhibits signs of imposter syndrome, often doubting his ability to fulfill the roles he's been given. Levi, on the other hand, manifests his anxiety through his obsessive cleanliness, a way to avoid confronting his painful past in the underground city. He avoids showing any signs of weakness, and even though he's suffering internally, he conceals it to prevent affecting others, especially as he's a leader and a symbol of hope for humanity, and for us, the viewers. Levi's connection to the audience is one of the key reasons why he becomes so captivating. His demeanor exudes a confidence that reassures us he can handle any situation. Even when humanity seems to be on the losing side, Levi's presence gives us the assurance that he will find a way to overcome the Titans. This is why many people end up placing more trust in Levi than in the series' protagonist, Eren. This bond of trust and the sense of security Levi provides is what makes him such a beloved character. The walls in Attack on Titan were built to protect humanity from the Titans, but it feels like Levi himself is another layer of protection for all of us. Thank you for recommending this anime to me. If you'd like, I can do a psychological analysis of other characters as well. Let me know in the comments who you'd like me to analyze next. And don't forget, we have another video coming this Sunday. See you next time.